They make bank. I didn't even know some of these existed. Stabbing another and what? It's cannabis. Nice to meet you.
It's not a game, it's a rich thing.
Alright y'all, welcome back to the Nursing Diary. My name is Sierra. I'm here for those of you. Hey y'all, welcome back to the Nursing Diary. My name is Sierra, for those of you who don't already know, and I make videos related to nursing, lifestyle, and beauty. In today's video, we're going to be going over a lot of nursing professions that you didn't even know existed. I'm going to be going over what the job is, how much they get paid, and kind of like what they do and what it entails. I'm not going to lie, some of these really had me shook. Like, I didn't even know some of these existed. Yeah, I did some research on various different websites. I will be linking them down below so that you can check through them if you want to, different organizations and things like that. So make sure you look at the description box if you want to know where I got my information from and the validity of it. Anyways, let me spill this tea and let's go ahead and start with the first one. The first one is transgender youth nurse. What? I've never heard of that, but it makes so much sense, especially this month being Pride Month, especially in today's day with the LGBTQ community being more prevalent and coming out and doing things like that. I think that this is very much needed, and nurses who specialize in this career field can be able to empathize and give better care to those of them who are trans. So I think this is a really needed nursing specialty. So let's talk about it, okay? So transgender youth nurses, these nurses specialize with transgender patients. The Center for Youth Health and Development at Children's Hospital in LA, they focus on hormone treatments, pubertal blockers, chest binders, and patients who come out of surgery. That is what they specialize in. That is what they do. That is what they help out with. And because the transgender community is growing and becoming more prevalent, this is much needed. However, the increase is they need more nurses, but the specialty is very limited. Like, if you want to become a transgender youth nurse, you're gonna have a hard time finding a job. This one specific children's hospital in LA, they have these transgender youth nurses, but they are not prevalent across the entire nation. So unfortunately, it's not that available yet, but it is on the rise. So if you are interested in that, make sure you mark it on something you want to put on your to-do list, because it might be in demand very soon. The next one we're going to get into is parish nursing. So these parish nurses basically integrate faith, healing, and wellness and spirituality within their scope of practice. These nurses can work in a church, they can work in a hospital, they can work in social services, pretty much anywhere. And this is really well because, I mean, sometimes you'll have patients who are very spiritual based and they believe in their faith, of whatever faith it might be, and a nurse can specialize with them and try to integrate healing and prayer and faith and their religion into their care, which is really great. These nurses make on average $68,000 a year, but this can vary based on state, education, experience, things like that. So there are organizations that you can join if you are interested in becoming a parish nurse, and I'm going to go over them. American Holistic Nurses Association, Health Ministries Association, Catholic Health Association of the US, American Nurses Association. All of these I guess are organizations that you can join if you are interested in parish nursing. All right, let's move on to the next one. The next one that we have is a flight nurse. What? I didn't even know that this existed, but obviously, like, it's kind of obvious when you think about it, because we take flights places, people on helicopters or whatever. I don't know, I just didn't think about it, but this is a real sector of nursing which you can join. And honestly, this is a cool field of nursing if you're interested in emergency health, trauma health nursing, all of that gory, crazy stuff that you're gonna see. This is definitely something that you might be interested in. So flight nurses basically accompany patients who are being transported from one hospital to a next via air. They work right hand in hand with the paramedics. They're also known as transport nurses. So flight nurses or transport nurses. And basically all their job entails is keeping the patient safe while they're in flight, helping them get on flight, helping them get off, and keeping the patient stable the entire time during the flight, regardless of how long it might be. That is their job. So yeah, I mean, I think it's pretty cool. These nurses can work out in the regular civilian nursing, or oftentimes they work in the military, and the average salary for this can range from $50,000 to $95K annually, and it really depends on your location, your experience, your education. It all varies, but this is just the range that I found when I was doing my research. So yeah, I think flight nursing is pretty cool. I think I might consider that someday. I don't know. All right, let's move on to the next one. I did not think about this until recently when I got an email from school saying that they needed nurses, and this sector of nursing is called camp nursing. Like, what? You don't even realize these things, that camps need nurses too. I mean, obviously, you know, if you're at a camp, if you've ever been to a camp, that there's always a nurse. But as a nursing student and as someone trying to think of, oh, what career of nursing I want to go in, I never thought to think camp nursing. But anyways, I got a separate opportunity to be a camp nurse starting the whole month of July, which is really awesome. So I'll get to experience what it's like to be a camp nurse very, very soon. Pretty much, if you're an outdoor person, if you like to be around children or experience mountains or whatever kind of camp it may be, I don't know, if you're that outdoorsy type of person, this is something that's for you. It's definitely temporary. This isn't something that is long term, because camps aren't always every season of the year. So this is definitely something that is seasonal. If you're interested in having fun, if you're interested in being around the youth and even adults, if you're interested in high adventure, this is something that you might want to consider. So things that you might see being a camp nurse is things simple as bug bites or allergic reactions or even broken bones. You can see literally all sorts of things. You might see heart attacks if you're outside in the heat, strokes. There's so many different things. If you're interested in emergency care, or if you're interested in trauma, pediatrics, this is something that you might want to consider as well. And honestly, the salary for this ranges. It can go from 21 to 38 an hour, depending on, again, your experience, your education, your state, the program, wherever you're working. You can work in areas like the YMCA, different private corporations or different organizations that have camps. So for instance, the one that I'm working to is a Christian camp that they have over the summer, and I have the opportunity to be a part of that as a camp nurse. So that's what I'll be doing, and it is a private organization. If there is a camp, or if you go to a church, if you go to a school or something that has a camp in particular, you might want to ask them and reach out and say, hey, do y'all need a nurse? Would you be willing to take a student nurse and take the opportunity? It's really cool. And yeah, if you like kids, if you like adventure, I think it's something that you might enjoy. This one like blew my mind. Like, what? Okay, we're moving on to a cannabis nurse. Like, what? What? I didn't even know this existed, y'all. But when you think about it, like, marijuana is pretty much everywhere. Like, almost all 50 states are like into it, right? So I mean, it makes sense. Marijuana is becoming more legal. The specialty of cannabis nurses is on the rise. We need more cannabis nurses because there's cannabis everywhere. This is a very emerging specialty. It's kind of new. It's still on the rise. These nurses have a responsibility to educate their patients, family members, caregivers, etc. about cannabis and its advantages, drug interactions, and things like that, and the different strains of cannabis that they have, I guess. And that's pretty much their job as a cannabis nurse. Not all nurses know specifically about like what kind of cannabis a patient might need, or this isn't stuff that we learn in pharmacology, which has me think, should we be learning? Because since this is a more emerging specialty and it's going to be more prevalent in nursing, should this be something that we go over in pharmacology? I don't know. Maybe they will implement it over time, but that's just something that I thought about. And then the average amount that a cannabis specialty nurse will make per average a year, $66,000 give or take a year. But also, again, it varies based on state, education, experience, and things like that. So Yeah, cannabis nursing. It's a thing. It's a thing. Go be a cannabis nurse. We have a few other that I want to go over real quick. We have a correctional care nurse, and these are nurses that work in jails and correctional facilities and prisons and things like that. And basically these nurses have a very difficult job because regardless of the patient's criminal history, the nurse has to give the best care regardless of what they're in prison for. If you were just trying to kill someone, stabbing another inmate, and you get stabbed, the nurse still has to care for you regardless. So it's kind of a very difficult nursing field, I feel like personally, but I think it's really, really cool that these nurses can still, regardless of whatever the instance might be, still give compassionately their whole selves as a nurse and wanting to care for these people in these facilities, because it's very vulnerable facility and environment that you're going to be in, and also a very undeserving facility and environment that you're in. So that's correctional care nursing. Average that you might make as a correctional care nurse is about $75,000 a year, give or take. But again, it depends on your location, your experience, your education, and things like that. One of these I did not know about, I feel like I kind of knew in the back of my head, but didn't necessarily know about, is health policy nursing. This basically is a sector of nursing where policies go hand in hand with nursing. Nice to meet you. Health policy nurses do not work with patients at a clinical level. They work at a societal level to create public policy. They analyze laws and they create better policies in health and healthcare overall. So to work in this sector of nursing, you have to have a bachelor's and a master's in nursing. You have the opportunity to work with public agencies such as the FDA, CDC, Health Resources and Services Administration, and Centers for Medicare and Medicaid. You can also work for universities, state legislators, and even Congress. That's fancy. You can work for Congress. And so what are you making each year as a health policy nurse? They make bank, I'm not gonna lie. From my research, there's an estimate. This is just an estimate guesstimate of what you're gonna be making, approximately $95K a year, give or take. But again, it depends on your education, your experience, what you can bring to the table as a health policy nurse, and your state. It all varies, but I feel like this is a really, really good sector of nursing, very professional. Really much no patient care interaction, but I think you do need already RN experience to be able to say, hey, now I want to advocate for healthcare as a whole and my policies of nursing to make it better in the hospitals for other nurses. So yeah, if that's something that you're interested in, maybe down the long run, you could be a health policy nurse, which is really cool. Okay, and the last one I think is really, really cool is forensic nursing. I'm sure most of you know about forensic nursing, but this field of nursing is really, really cool. You mix nursing and healthcare with a little bit of crime, CSI, you know, all that stuff kind of ties in, and you have to assess your patients and use what you find in court pretty much. So they all combine, and you're using all of this to bridge the gap between law and medicine with your patient and trying to advocate the best you can for them with what you're finding in your assessments. And yeah, I think it could be pretty scary and pretty sad in a lot of different instances, because you're dealing with crime. You're dealing with different cases, and oftentimes you might also be an asset when it comes to court. So yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. To be a forensic nurse, you can be located in a psych institution, medical examiner office, community correctional facility, and many different areas. As a forensic nurse, you can make on average $73K a year, give or take, depending on your location, experience, education, things like that. Some other sectors of nursing include yacht nurse. I thought that was pretty crazy. I guess yachts need nurses too. Disney nurse. You can be a nurse at Disney. That's really cool. If you're interested in working at Disney, you can be a Disney nurse. Hyperbaric nurse, which is really, really cool. The hyperbaric chambers, they need nurses to specifically specialize in that field. Medical script nurse, and I didn't even think of this. This is a nurse that works pretty much for shows, like medical shows. Think Grey's Anatomy. I guess they need nurses to be able to go over the script with them and let them know, okay, this is the right terms, this is, all of this is right, and this is how it should act out, and things like that. We know that some of them shows obviously don't have medical script nurses, but I think this is something that is real. I don't know. Maybe I don't know, maybe in other states more than others. Maybe one day you can become a medical script nurse and help TV shows come up with the best script for their medical show. I don't know. And then also one other field of nursing that I thought was really cool was a NASCAR nurse. If you want to have an interesting job, travel from state to state and all these different NASCAR games, races, I don't know what it's called. But if you want to participate in that, you can definitely become a NASCAR nurse. And that's pretty much it for this video. I went over as much as I could in regards to what the nursing specialty is, what their job entails, how much they're gonna make, and some other really cool nursing specialties. So if you guys enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, give it a thumbs down. That's okay too. I really like your feedback. Thank you guys for watching this video. I hope it helps someone out. And if you're not already subscribed, and if you've made it to the end of this video, thank you. Go ahead and hit the subscribe button, and I hope to see you back at my channel again. And that is it. Don't forget to always be kind, love yourself and others, and always go out and try your best. I'll see y'all in my next video.
It's not a game, it's a rich thing.